Welcome everybody to Extreme Off-Road Silly Builds, and today we're dealing with the 2022 Wuling Hongguang Mini EV Macaron. So this now has 1,147 horsepower, 1,266 pounds-feet of torque, from an 82 kilowatt-hour series of batteries, powering 2 electric motors. The car itself now weighs 1,989 pounds, has off-road tyres, all-wheel drive and off-road suspension, and it can now do 0 to 60 in 7.004 seconds, 0 to 108.7 seconds, and going to a top speed of 216 miles an hour. So those acceleration times are a little on the low side, purely because this car struggles to put all of that power down, because at the end of the day that is 1,120 horsepower more than it had originally. So it only had 27 horsepower, and yeah, the battery size is well over 4 or 5 times as much. The batteries and motors are actually from the Porsche Mission R, which I think we've used on this series or something or other, but I have reviewed it, and yeah, that was an incredible electric vehicle. But this is going to struggle here, no doubt about that. It's got an extremely small wheelbase. Even though it's got off-road tyres, it only raises it by about 0.75 of an inch. And yeah, it obviously doesn't weigh all that much either, but the stats in terms of acceleration, launch and off-road capability are fairly decent. But yeah, it's not going to be the quickest by any means of a stretch of the imagination, because of just how well more powerful than it is originally, and the car just will not be able to deal with that, as well as obviously off-road conditions and whatnot. But I have given it, as you can see, the wider body kit to add some stability, and the spoiler as well to increase downforce, just to give this as much opportunity as possible to be reasonably drivable. So we have actually had the Wuling Sunshine S on this series before, but that unfortunately wasn't a million miles off the bottom of the leaderboard. So yeah, if this can be quicker than that at the very least, which is obviously a far more conventional road vehicle, then yeah, I will be pleased. But yeah, don't expect this to be challenging the likes of the Spania from the last episode, which was incredibly quick, so much so that it actually got to the top spot. Oh dear, yeah, we had a little bit of a floaty moment there. So yeah, that's one of my rewinds used up, although to be honest, I might well just give this some leeway in terms of rewinds, because it might well be a bit of a hectic car to drive. For now, for the most part at least, it is doing okay. Incredible rates of speed there, nearly 180 miles an hour. It's certainly got a lot of get up and go when it does eventually get going. Off the line it isn't particularly quick, because the traction control is, weirding out, because it just cannot deal with the fact you've got such a small car with such small tyres. And I think the widest that they are is 205mm, dealing with such a large amount of power. Because usually when you have a car with this amount of power, you've got much wider tyres, whereas obviously you can only have so many wide tyres on this because of the this microscopic size of the car. If you had them, well over 300mm, you really wouldn't have any room for those at all in this car. To be honest, I am surprised that this is doing as well as it is. I figured it would be a comedy vehicle like the Reliant Robin or something. Oh dear. Or the Reliant Supervan as it is called on here. It's not perfect by any means, obviously once it does get a little bit out of control it is a bit hard to gather back up, and the acceleration from low down is not that great. But as soon as we get above like 80 or 90 miles an hour it seems to fly away. It seems to get a bit of a second wind behind it. Oh dear, yeah, bouncing around as I expected it to. It is fun, even if it isn't particularly fast. I'm surprised it's turning in as well as it is, given, it was never meant for all-wheel drive, it was only rear-wheel drive originally. And obviously those tyres aren't the widest, they're dealing with a hell of a lot of power at the same time. Oh dear, fences there not helping us there. Even with the fences, still able to get up to nearly 150. Oh dear. We've gone a bit wide, we all held it, just about. Frankly, if this is faster than any normal car, then shame on them, quite frankly. This is a very, very hectic car to drive. It's a very noisy one as well, so I hope you've actually been able to hear me. A bit of understeer there. But surprisingly, far and away not the slowest car that we've had at 3 minutes 22.522 seconds. That puts us all the way up into 522. We are in 80th place. We've beaten such vehicles that are off-road orientated in some regards, the likes of the Volkswagen Pickup LX, the GMCs, the Cyclone and the Typhoon, the Jimco Hammerhead Class 1, a Mitsubishi Galant, a Aston Martin DBX, a Toyota Hilux AT38, and we're about, what, 9 seconds or so quicker than the Wuling Sunshine? Yeah, we're just under 9 seconds ahead of that, so yeah, that is remarkably quick. To get not only in the top 100 but also beating several other off-road orientated vehicles is really rather quite insane. If I could have gotten it under control more often, then yeah, this could have easily gone a little bit higher than that. But yeah, we don't give cars second chances on this series, just so yeah, it's fairer across the board. But still, that is an incredibly good time for a car that is well out of its comfort zone. We talk about being out of comfort zones with other vehicles a lot, but this is well and truly out of its comfort zone. You know, we've got well over 1100 horsepower more than what it had originally. It's doing, you know, well, what, 110, 120 mile an hour more than it could do even in its original form at top speed. And yeah, the extra acceleration and the off-road, you know, elements as well on top of all of that means that this is just, yeah, well out of its comfort zone, but has put in a really good showing despite all of that. So yeah, fantastic vehicle. You can get this part of the Chinese Lucky Stars car pack, and it's well worth getting because it's a huge fun car to drive up and graded, and it's rather cute as well to drive around and potter around in stock form as well. But nonetheless, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.